Thank you very much, Anne, for taking your time to discuss your past career. So first question is, when did you realize that nursing was a career you wanted to pursue?
Probably the year before I entered. I was actually, after high school, I went into teacher's college. And after a year, I decided I didn't really want to do teaching. And somebody decided that, why don't you try nursing? So I did.
And who in your life helped you decide to become a nurse?
Actually, it was an ex-boyfriend.
Oh, wow. What post-secondary education did you need?
Just high school. This is in Quebec, so it's a little bit different. But you couldn't go into nursing until you were 18, so everybody did sort of a year of something other than nursing, and then you applied for nursing.
And where was your first job?
At the hospital I trained at.
And what was your position?
Staff nurse.
And why did the job appeal to you?
Well, after graduation, like, we worked in a hospital. We trained in a hospital. It was a hospital school of nursing. And they guaranteed us a job after we graduated. And so you put down what you wanted to work in, which floor you wanted to work in. And I chose one floor. I really liked the head nurse. And so that's...
And what qualities or characteristics do you need to be a nurse?
I was thinking about that. You have to be patient. You have to have some empathy, and you have to be able to not get totally involved in any situation. You have to be able to keep your distance and yet still remain caring and compassionate towards people. And a sense of humor always helps.
And what was the most difficult thing within your career?
Working nights and weekends.
And how does this job affect your mental and physical health?
A lot of my nursing friends have a lot of back issues from lifting, etc. I've been lucky I'm not plagued by that. And some just get burnout. That's sort of the two things that you could find with that.
What was the most important lesson you learned throughout your career?
Probably the value of friends and support.
And what was the hospital named, your last job? What was...
Well, I've worked at one hospital, that was the Queen Elizabeth Hospital of Montreal. After I moved to Ontario from Quebec, I worked for oral surgeons, which is kind of different, but still within nursing.
And why did you retire?
I thought it was time. You know, sometimes you just realize, you know, I worked for oral surgeons for 37 years, and it just was time. And I was going to take care of my grandbabies, so.
Perfect. Thank you very much for your time.
Oh, you're very welcome.
Hello, Joey. Thank you for meeting me today to do this interview about your career.
All right.
Who made you interested in the field of TV production?
Who? I don't know if there's one specific person. I kind of studied a little bit in school. Went to McMaster University and studied theater and film, and kind of got into documentary work, or got into studying documentary work, and started volunteering, working at Cogeco in order to kind of learn the technical aspects of it.
And when did you graduate?
A long time ago now. I think I graduated in 2005.
And where was your first hand-on experience in media?
It was here. So, like I said, I studied kind of the theory of film and documentary work, but when I graduated, I started volunteering at Cogeco as much as I possibly could to learn the technical hands-on stuff.
And how long did you volunteer here until you were offered a paid position?
I volunteered for about 2 years, I think. I was here almost every day as much as I possibly could. Basically, I treated this like my second job. And then I was offered a part-time position, basically working on the weekends in our master control, airing the shows.
And what would you say is your specialty in media?
A specialty? I don't know. You kind of to be a producer at TV Cogeco, you kind of have to. It's a community channel. You work with volunteers, so you have to kind of be a jack of all trades. You have to know relationship building. You have to know the tech, like really in-depth stuff on the technical side. You have to know how to like every individual piece of equipment works. The stuff that really gets me excited would be trying to come up with how a show kind of fits together, like the skeletons of how like the graphics and the content and the context all kind of coming together as one. So I like building a show from scratch.
And how does this job affect your lifestyle and personal life?
So there's none. Basically, you're working long hours, usually at night. Usually, whenever a story or something breaks, you have to be available for it. It's a definite commitment to your personal life, but as long as you enjoy what you're doing, it's worth it, right?
And what is your current position at TV Coach Co?
I'm a producer, so what my job would be to work with volunteers from the community to either see their ideas of television shows through to fruition or train volunteers how to make those shows happen.
What are some characteristics needed to work in your field?
Characteristics like you want personality traits or
That and skills and
skills.
Yeah.
Okay, so for skill wise, you just you absolutely need to know the tools of the trade. So whether you want to work with cameras or audio equipment or be a lighting technician or something like that, you definitely want to know the ins and outs of the tools. It's no different than like the way a carpenter needs to know how a hammer or a lathe works. You have to know all the ins and outs of how your camera works and all that kind of stuff in order to troubleshoot or to get the best shot you possibly can. Interpersonal skills and relationship building is huge for my job as a producer. I'm working with, like I said, volunteers from the community. It'll be community partners, people from the city, from the organizations in the community that they've never been on TV before, or they're looking for ways to get more exposure. And you kind of got to negotiate all of the demands of what everybody wants and needs to get the end product on air, but also keep your crew and your volunteers happy too. So it's a real juggling act sometimes.
And what was the biggest struggle you faced throughout your career so far?
Well, I guess the biggest hurdle was just learning all of the technical aspects of the job. Like I said, I didn't study this in school per se. I didn't learn the technical side in school. So everything I've learned actually working with the 6 or 7 staff that work here and help me learn, which is amazing. At the same time, without having the background necessarily of the formal education, you start picking up other people's bad habits, and you have to kind of know where be able to negotiate the equipment properly.
And what are you most proud of?
I don't know. Well, I guess I'm proud of, again, the relationships that you build here. It's a really interesting place to work, and you work with people that like the general public, they're not going to meet every day. And it's a really rewarding experience when someone is coming to you with a problem or a concept to get something on television, and you work them through it. I mean, it's every project's completely different, and every project is its own reward. This past summer at Sheraton, I did the National Men's Soccer Championships with Wayne Fish, and that was a hugely rewarding experience. Incredible amount of planning, incredible amount of work that went into it, and it was a great success. I'm real proud of that.
And what advice would you give to students who are planning to join this field?
You got to be ready to commit to it. Like I said, you need to really commit to knowing what the equipment is and how it needs to be used and what the proper way is to do it. And you got to commit your lifestyle to really kind of fit towards, or to build towards what you want to accomplish. It's not going to be easy, but you got to keep going.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
All right.